Well, team, we're about to wrap up the end of the year, so I thought I'd give you my own wrap or my thoughts and my reflections on what I've learned this year. I've learned heaps. As you know, I'm a lifelong learner, and the more we learn, the more we earn. The first one that really got us, we're growing intelligently, but we're growing internationally. We've signed our first UK client a couple of weeks ago, which we kick off in January. We've signed more Canadian clients. We love our Canadians. They're so damn polite, so nice. So we love you, Canadians. And I think the big one is around getting the team you tolerate. So we've had a couple of good hires and we've had a couple of bad hires. And the key is making sure that you set them up for success and you onboard them properly. And that means, just making sure that you have got your systems in order, so that you're setting them up to succeed, not to fail. And if you've done all that and you've coached them and you've onboarded them and you've recruited right, so recruiting, onboarding and coaching, those three things, really, really important, and they're still not working out for you, then you're going to have to make some changes. I think probably my gut tells me pretty quickly within about the first month, we're going to know if they work out or not. And it sounds cruel, but I think you sometimes be kind. Sometimes people present and interview very well and they're just not right. And we have a team, we have a general manager, we have the peers that they work across. We've got a team of about 6 now, and getting people involved in that recruitment process. So I always say, if your spidey sense and your intuition says that they're not going right and they're struggling and you've set them up properly, it's time to let them go. It might sound cruel, I think you actually need to be kind. The next one sort of related to that is actually making sure you surround yourself with the right coaches. We had a bit of a bum move. We invested in someone who we thought was amazing, and that didn't work out to be. So we replaced them. Again, took too long to do that, to drop out of that, and went with another coach. And this coach has been brilliant for us, helped us with our recurring revenue, is a great sounding board for me. But every time we grow, we kind of not outgrow our coaches, but we have to go to the next level, to the next chapter. So just really remember that when you get advice from people where they are at business, you then need to go into the next room or the next level to get to the next coach who's achieved the things that you haven't yet achieved. If you're talking to someone who's achieved what you've achieved, then you need to stretch yourself. It's a bit like when you play better players, whether you're playing squash or tennis or football, rugby, whatever your thing is, you've got to play better players. So I always find put yourself around with better coaches. Next one I found that's probably been a really, really big lesson for me as a founder and owner of the business is this whole concept of setting yourself high standards and being unapologetic about the standards that you set for you and your team. We have this great quote here: the standards you walk past are the standards you accept. So if my team don't get back to people quickly, or they forget things, or they have typos, or they don't spell clients' names properly, I get really grumpy with them. And they know I have very, very high standards, and I'm unapologetic for that. We have clients who pay us good money, and we expect them to hit their high standards. So that's a really, really important one. I think you get what you tolerate in this life. We talked about the teams, talked about coaches, and your people. So you get what you tolerate in this life and you get what you inspect. So inspect is what you get. And having high standards is really, really important. So high standards are crucial. You can't talk about 2025 without reflecting and recognizing the role of AI. We're starting to lean into AI pretty clear. In about a few days' time, we're going to have a new AI platform that will obviously protect our IP, which is a really important thing. A lot of people are just throwing all their stuff into AI and not realizing how to use it safely. And then obviously if you're not paying certain plans, then they're just scraping all your information and then coaching the model to everyone else, whether that's Chat or Perplexity or Claude or whatever your LLM model is, your choice. So we're going to have an AI platform, which will be virtual me, not me as in a hologram, but virtual SJ. And then it will have a whole list of bunch like role play coach, conversation coach, coaching coach, and it's going to be a pretty exciting tool called Field Coach AI. And we're looking forward to launching that in the new year. The other thing that's sort of really helped me this year is my routine and my rituals. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, I'm really, really hot on exercise. That's a non-negotiable. I'm very, very hot on diary discipline. So if it's not in the diary, it doesn't exist. So my exercise goes in my diary. It's one of my biggest priorities because it helps me keep going at the speed and energy that I require. And obviously, exercise gives you energy. Don't be one of those people that gets January, say you're going to get fit and then stop it in February. You need to make it a ritual and a routine all the usual hacks. You put your gym gear in the bag, choose a gym that's close to your office, block the time in the diary, show up for yourself, show up and keep the appointment that you made with yourself. It's very, very important. I think, as I've always said, it's my best health insurance policy. The other routines and rituals, I really enjoy reading in the morning. I don't like jumping on my phone first thing in the morning. I was going to grab it, but fortunately it's over there. Reading is just a lovely way to wake up your brain, nice and slowly, and I think it appreciates it, because when you go into your phone, you slam into your email inbox, and maybe that makes you late for work or your socials, and you just disappear down a rabbit hole, down a black hole. So our brains aren't actually wired to wake up like that. They take time, and as you get a little bit older, like me, it's going to take you a little bit longer to wake up. So reading with a cup of tea or coffee where it's quiet is a beautiful and very, very constructive way to be kind to yourself and give yourself a gift, the gift of learning first in the morning. Because if your whole day goes to shit, then at least you've had some constructive me time where you've been learning something, even though the whole day might gallop and come at you pretty thick and fast. So I'm very grateful for my reading, great for my exercising, also really great for my sleeping. I'm pretty much in bed. My kind of body clock works about 10:15, and I usually read a book. I'm not on phones in my room because that will keep me awake and my brain keeps going, and then I'll keep doing emails because we've got obviously international clients now with different time zones. My eyes are getting pretty sleepy around 10 o'clock, 10:15, so I get a solid 8 hours kip, and I usually wake up at around 6. And then, or slightly just before that, and then have that cup of tea and wake up slowly, and I do that with a book. Now, I've invested a lot of training this year. I've invested in the Crusaders Leadership Development Program, which was amazing. Got to speak to amazing world-class players and coaches like Dan Carter, Wayne Smith, Kieran Reid. Had some amazing thoughts there. I'll probably share more of those in the year, so much I have to sort of summarize, which we don't have time for here. I also signed up with Chase Hughes, who's over in the US. Chase Hughes is a ex-FBI guy, worked in the US Navy as an intelligence officer and does a lot on behavioral profiling. And he is very, very good. There's no BS for that guy, straight to the chase, and he backs it up. Excuse the pun there. He's amazing. His behavioral ops manual is a big ass book. It's here. Look at the size of it. Look at the size of it. So I'm almost finished. But that's a weapon of a book. Best book I've read this year. I don't know. I read about a couple of books a week, and this one, you'll have to excuse my bias. You obviously know I live in New Zealand. This is the mental skills coach, Gilbert Anoka. He was part of the All Black squad that had a 87% win rate from 2005 to 2015. They won 2 Rugby World Cups in succession, and it's called Become Unstoppable by Gilbert Anoka. That's a brilliant book, and he takes you inside the All Blacks camp, the environment, how deliberate they design that environment, their rituals, their habits, their culture, based accountability, which is a big thing, which is a big sign of a strong culture. So that's a brilliant book. I've read some other brilliant books as well. There's so many here on the desk, I'm not going to go through them. Biggest wins or breakthroughs for us will probably be picking up more international clients. We, as I say, picked up our first UK client a couple of weeks ago, which is ironic because I'm British by birth. Time zone is challenging, but they have entrusted us, even though we're the other side of the world, which is great, and we're very grateful for that. And then probably Canadian clients, whether they're in Ontario or Alberta or Manitoba or Saskatchewan. We love working with Canadian clients. They are just so damn nice. We're also very grateful to our American clients, our Australian clients. We love the Aussies. They just make decisions quickly, crack on and do the work, and of course our New Zealand clients too. So it's really good to see the business diversifying and growing beyond our borders. What else did I learn? Probably the biggest one I've seen when it comes to our clients is you've got to be someone who's willing to do the work. And what I mean by that is you've got to apply and use what you're taught and trained. There's no point signing up for coaches, some of the wonderful coaches I've mentioned here, if you're not willing to use and apply what they've taught you. You can't be passive. My best clients are the ones that are not passive. They're the ones that are active. They're the ones that take massive action. We've got some beautiful guys in our rural sales manager group, and there's guys and girls in that group. It's a great community of rural sales managers, and they're so generous and they coach each other, and I beam like a proud parent when they ask each other questions, and they all want to help each other out. And we have We have two particular guys, Al and Ken. They're amazing, and they are coaching their teams. They're having those coaching conversations, they're using the coaching questions, and their teams are getting better, and their sales are increasing exponentially. We also have Gavin and Corey and Nathan in our Rural Sales Syndicate, which is my weekly sort of sales marketing group that I run for business owners who can't afford our private group training. And yeah, these guys are just so far ahead of the rest. The difference between the students that take action and the ones that just tick the boxes and just sort of absorb the content but don't do anything with it is like night and day, and their sales numbers back this up. And I'm sure if you just Google us and look for our courses, you'll see all those wonderful case studies as proof and truth of that. So it's really, really hard for me to say this, but like, I don't understand why some people don't do the work. I'm someone that does the work, and as a result, I can feed my family, I can give them opportunities, I can support them, we can make investments, we can invest back in the business and become better, build that moat, building a very, very expensive AI tool as one example right now, or promotions, or having the time to do my podcasts, or to think, or to employ more people, right? Whether they be in America or Australia. So you've got to be willing to do the work, and it's so easy to be distracted these days. There's so many shiny things, new things, but you just got to knuckle down. You've got to do the work. You've got to punch out the reps, and I'll give you an example of that because I haven't told many people about this. I have a new book that's going to be coming out early in 2026, with a bit of luck, once it goes to the editor. And this is the manuscript. You can see here, if you're seeing this video on your phone, or you're actually watching this, it's called The Inner Game of Rural Sales. And this is based on a brilliant book of The Inner Game of Tennis, or The Inner Game of Golf by Timothy Galway. And that sold millions of copies as a New York Times bestseller. And I thought it was so good about the sort of mental side, the psychological side of sport, and getting out of your own way, and how you run your own mental interferences, sometimes unconsciously, which then affect your potential and performance. So yeah, this is a big old manuscript. I've literally just finished it. It's really, really hard. I've got 3 kids. I've got a wife that works full time. It's really, really busy in our household, and I think we are about 46,000 pages, which will be roughly around 130 pages of a business book. Nothing too chunky, but it'll be brilliant. And it backs up the book that I wrote this year, which was based on The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, which you should definitely buy. And if you're into improving yourself, because you are the most important part of any rural sales process, you should be buying this book called 365 Rules to Master Rural Sales. I've written that, and you've got a daily entry every day to keep you inspired. We will have audiobooks in the new year. Obviously, you can download the ebook, and you could use the visual impairment tool on your Android or your Apple. Reach out or just Google that, how you get the screen to text and how it happens, so you can actually get your phone to read it to you. So yeah, I mean, the key thing is, like, do you want your 2026 to be a repeat of 2025? I know it's been pretty tough for some people. I know the machinery guys have really struggled and still struggling. Crop prices are challenging, particularly in the US. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just sort of sit on your hands and ride it out and sign up for austerity and just sit in your hands and do nothing and let things happen to you? Are you going to take action? Are you going to take deliberate action? You can take max action. You can take the right action. I see so many people just stuck in the same rut on repeat, and they get frustrated because they plateau, and then they get passed by someone else, or another team, or another manager, or another coach who has invested in themselves, and again, to my earlier point, are willing to do the work. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to sacrifice? Again, writing things like this, these are not easy. I've got a lot going on in my life. I've got a team of 6, I've got an international business that's growing, I've got coaches, I've got podcasts, I've got socials, I've got training, I've got, SOPs, onboarding. I've got a lot on my plate, but I still managed to punch out a book. Now, AI didn't write this, I write this. Once you read this, you'll know it's my voice. And I've got a point of view, I've got a perspective, so you'll hear that and feel that in the book. And I do it. Why do I do this sort of stuff? Why do I do these podcasts? Why do I write these books? Why do I put out all these free resources? It's very simple. I used to suffer and struggle in sales, and I didn't know what I was doing. As a result, I got mucked around, I got ghosted, I got priced, and it was deflating. It was kind of almost depressing, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And so as soon as I lent into learning about human psychology, and I think you need to be a student of psychology when it comes to sales, very important in this AI automated machine learning world. that really gives you an advantage. You understand the buyer's brain, how humans make decisions, all those things. So everything I read and write about these days is usually human behavior, neuroscience, psychology. I've had some really good guests on the podcast, and we're going to keep making bigger asks for better guests in our podcasts. We've just had our podcast reviewed by a top podcast show here in New Zealand, who's the #1 podcast, the Two Beers. So we're very thankful to Steve Holloway for reviewing our podcast. So we're going to take that to higher heights. But you've got to be willing to do the work. I just cannot tell you how important that is. You cannot be passive in this world. It's just getting too complicated. Average is over. If you're ordinary, if you're average, and you're not willing to do the work and put in the reps and be disciplined and be committed, and I don't need to sound like Jocko Willink here or David Goggins or Chris Williamson or Jay Shetty or whoever you might subscribe to, just do the freaking work. Like, just get up and do the work, whether it's exercise or it's reading or it's writing or it's breath work or it's walking or it's playing or it's socializing or it's studying or it's being coached or it's applying and carving out the time to do it. It's nothing more frustrating than me to see a few of our students fly high, rocket away, make some good sales. And some of these guys are literally up 20%, 30%. We've got one that's up 55% compared to last year. I think he's buying me a beer on Friday, which is very kind of him because he happens to live where I live. And that's really good. I appreciate that, Corey. But, you know, you can get those results too, but you've got to be willing to do the work. And I sound like a broken record, but if you don't knuckle in and you don't commit and you're not disciplined and you don't carve out that time and make and take that time to be trained and then apply it, then all that knowledge is useless. Don't sign up for the training, the coaching. Don't read the books if you're not actually going to apply it and teach them, because knowledge not used is useless. And it's like a muscle memory. You got to use it or you lose it. So you have to keep repeating it. As I say to my students, repetition is the mother of all learning. So please, if there's one thing I can leave you with here, I want you to transform you and your future and your families by doing the work. You don't need to do amazing things. You just need to do one or two things really well. The most important thing is being consistent and taking action. So I hope you've seen me show up for you this year. We'll be 100 episodes, probably 101 by the time this one comes out. That's a pretty big milestone for us. We are a small little show. 3rd book written, AI platform coming online, and will be beta in a couple of days, and then we'll launch it in the new year to a few people, not to everyone. And we're pretty excited about 2026. It's been a big year for us, but hopefully you've enjoyed all the content we put out there. Please make sure you go to our free resources page. If you're struggling and you haven't got the money, don't worry, we've got you covered. Don't need to sign up for big courses just yet. Get your way there, level up. Go to ruralsalessuccess.com. That's our rural resources page. In there is free copies of our books, links to the podcast, previews of our program, all our socials. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter and more. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's there. There's an abundance of learning out there. It's the willingness to learn that is scarce. So learn and earn. Do the work. Be willing to do the work, and you can transform yourselves and end up in a much better future in 2026. But it's really up to the behaviours and actions and the decisions that you make. And either you're in the driving seat of your life, making the decisions, or you're in the passenger seat getting buffeted around and driven around by someone else. They always say if you haven't got a plan for your own life, someone else will have a plan for yours, and I don't want that to happen. You either take action or you get acted upon. I mean, this world is not getting any less complicated. AI is going to come in like a steam train, and it's going to remove a lot of average out there. So if you're in the middle, that's where you get run over. You want to be at the top. So be a good student, be willing, be coachable, have an open sponge-like mind, be curious about the world. Again, got to do the work. That's where you get the treats. Anyway, stay safe, travel safe, enjoy your time with your loved ones and your family and your friends. Refresh yourselves, recharge, reset, rest, read, and we will look forward to serving you and turning up for you again in the new year. Happy Christmas, have a great holidays.